today is Monday. It's the start of a brand new week. So, whatever you went through over the weekend, whatever you went through last week, I want you to know that today is a brand new day, that His mercies are new every morning. You know, my husband and I, we were up this morning just spending time with the Lord outside. We were having our coffee. Don't worry, I made sure I only had a little cup because I wanted to be ready for the daily coffee chat with my coffee. But we were just doing a reset. So if you need a reset this Monday, I encourage you to take it. I encourage you to jump into your word. I encourage you to be inspired and encouraged today because we have some amazing guests coming on here today. Today, we are talking about how we can minister to those who are hurting. Maybe you are hurting today in the midst of this season. Maybe you know others who are hurting. Maybe you're like, I'm a minister. I want to be a good leader and I want to be able to minister to those who are hurting, whether it's the children who's hurting, whether it's the workers that you're over, whatever it is. We want to feed your soul and your spirit today. So I want us to jump right in. Shout out to Ryan Frank, who I know is on vacation. And I hope he is having just times of refreshing in the presence of the Lord and just so much fun with his beautiful family. But I want to bring on our first guest, Pastor Rosemary Winbush. I want her to come on and turn on her camera because this woman is a powerhouse. So you know, Ryan, you know, he's so sweet. Oh my goodness, I want you to help me host this. You're awesome. We're really good friends. And he's always like, I can help you find the guests. I'm like, no. I know some incredible, dynamic people. And Pastor Rosemary, she has been one of those people. She is like a mom, mentor, everything to like everybody she meets. I don't care if she's the same age. She will become their mentor because it's the Spirit of God that is in her. She has this amazing book. This is how I got to know her. Children's ministry and just amazing opportunity to do ministry with her. The essentials in this book is just amazing. So this incredible dynamic woman of God she's so much. Oh my goodness, Rosemary, you're so much. You're an author. You do so many things. And I want you to tell us when we get towards the end of our conversation what you do. But I wanted Pastor Rosemary on here because she just speaks just so eloquently and to the heart of God when it comes to just decisions that we may need to make. Rosemary, you know, I was on the phone with you the other day for like 2 hours. And I'm like, she is just ministering to me, to her that she was ministering to that. So I'm so excited of what she's going to share on here today. Rosemary, how are you doing?
I am well. Good morning, everyone. This is going to be amazing. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to come on and be with you. I love your spirit. I'm excited to, just to engage and be in conversation about all the things that you want to talk about and what people really need to hear about, right?
So, absolutely. And this season I've been saying it time and time again. It's like a rug has been ripped up from under us. But God is still so faithful. He is so incredibly faithful in this season. But Rosemary, I want to jump into this because I want you to just minister to the hearts and the minds to those who are watching. I know that people come on later and they watch the replay and they watch. We're talking about hurt. And I really want to talk about hurting workers in ministry. And I really want to dig into that. So what hurt have you observed in regards to workers in ministry?
Well, for me, I've been in doing children's ministry for probably about 30 plus years. And through the time, I've seen a lot of things happen. And especially right now, I see people hurting from feeling that they're abandoned, that they have not been nurtured. Abandonment can mean a lot of things to some people. For one thing, I think it's a lack of attentiveness.
Mhm.
A lot of times when we're serving in ministry, and I want to say thank you to all of you who are continuing to serve in ministry, even during this time and this season in the earth. But abandonment is a serious thing. It means that people have felt left out of the main circle of what's been happening and what's going on,
Mm.
especially in children's ministry. You can be left out really easily because a lot of times people feel like we're back in the back and we're not up here. And maybe people feel like nobody's been paying attention to their gifts and their talents and what they offer in the ministry. And I'm here to tell you, you offer a great deal. We have the opportunity to minister to generations, not only the generations that we see sitting in front of us or we're on the Zoom camera with right now, or however we're doing ministry, but we minister to the generations that are inside of them. And we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about that yesterday when we were talking about how sometimes we forget the power and the greatness that we have inside of us. So sometimes when we don't get people to tell us, you know, you're doing a super job, I really appreciate you. And that comes from even not just the church side, but from the parent side. Sometimes parents
Yeah.
can send their kids to children's ministry day in and day out, but never stop at the door to say, thank you for ministering to my kid. And so they feel like they've been abandoned or they've been left to the side and nobody's paying attention to them. And so
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really, really, really see a lot. Another thing that I really see is a lot of times people feel as though they are been thrown into children's ministry or they just they're ill-equipped. And I think a lot of times we inflict that on our side as leaders. Sometimes we inflict that kind of hurt because if you are serving someplace and you feel as though you're ill-equipped or you haven't been nurtured, you haven't been trained well,
Yeah.
you can get hurt from just people treating you in a posture where you may not have been trained well.
Mhm.
That means kind of like if you had a job and you went on your job and you weren't equipped to do what you were supposed to do, people have put you in a place to make you work at a deficit. And when you work at a deficit, it can cause hurt that will come into you as well, because now you feel as though I'm not equipped. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. You're always second guessing yourself. And so that can create a kind of hurt that is self inflicted for yourself and also from what you may be getting from your leaders and even from families that come across and what you're doing. So we want to make sure that we are still training people. We're still talking to people, even during this time of COVID and all the unsettling in the earth and what's going on. But we still want to talk to people. We still want to keep them in a place that we want to nurture them. We want to still feed their souls. So another thing I can say about this is also do some self evaluating,
Mm.
meaning ask yourself, why am I hurt? What am I going to do about why I feel that I'm hurt? And how can I move forward and do what I do that I know God has called me to with joy?
Mm.
Part of that is really just remembering why we do what we do in ministry. If you know your why, it'll keep you filled with energy and it'll keep some of the hurt at bay. That's something we can do as a self remedy from the hurt. But as leaders, you know, we can do some other things as well. But I see that kind of a hurt. I see the abandonment, and I see just just people not paying attention to the
Mm.
gifts and the talent that people have, and then I see the ill-equipped part of it and all of that. Those are the things that I think stem from a lot of the hurt that comes in ministry when we do children's church or children's ministry.
Goodness. Rosemary, you are right on. I mean, I agree with all of that. I've experienced some of that. I know you all who are listening, you may have experienced that, and she is hitting the nail right on the head. But Rosemary, I mean, I know you know, unless you live in a bubble, right? You know that this season has happened and it's presented a lot of challenges for a lot of people. How can we minister to those workers who are and I'm gonna smash this together. I tried to send some questions, but I'm gonna smash this together and I'm just let you take it and just minister to us today. But how can we minister to those workers who are coming back or they're preparing to go back and to the church? And how can we minister to those who are hurting, who are still at home. There's so many churches that are still shut down.
Yeah.
I know my church has opened recently. I see a few of them opening. You scroll down on Facebook. I know that is happening, but there's still so many who are still struggling with that loneliness and so much that's going on in the season. How can we minister to those?
Well, let's take the ones who are going back. I know for me in our church, we haven't made the decision to come back yet.
Mhm.
But if you have made that decision and you are back, one of the ways that I think that we can really minister to them as far as leaders in the church is making sure that they are a part of the decision inclusion. Uh,
Mm.
we've seen people doing surveys for all of the members coming back to church to see what the climate is about members coming back to church. But are we thinking about the decisions of the workers and what they feel like? Have we actually checked their climate to see how they feel and include them in the decision making? Sometimes, we as leaders, we make this big decision, but we have all these people that support us and help us in operating and functioning in our church. But are we talking to them? Are we asking them how they feel? Are we having empathy? Because I know sometimes if you serve in children's ministry and you have kids, do you feel comfortable going back in as a worker? Do you feel comfortable even for your own kids to come back in? And even though we've checked those things out with the climate of the members, how do our workers feel? So I think allowing them to be in the part of the decision, having empathy with them, hearing their voice, and then letting God speak to you as a leader on what you want to do. And if people have their own heart and they say, I don't really feel comfortable coming back as a worker, then respecting that and not holding it against them and thinking anything about their faith or whatever it may be, but embrace them and love them just like you would a member because they are members of the church as well and they're just serving. So I think that those are two key things that we can do for those who are going back into that church environment. Now, if you haven't gone back into the church environment, one of the things that I think is so key, I've kind of really told the teams that work with us, still keep being the church,
Mm.
meaning still keep sending those emails with the curriculum packets that you would normally do, still keep calling, reminding people. Like for instance, we have a really large team that serve with us, more than 200 people. So we have all these tiers of leaders. So what I've been trying to do during this COVID time is really staying connected and staying engaged. And I think that that's really key for people as far as ministering to them. I still want them to uh, prepare like they were actually still going to teach,
Mm.
because in the preparation is when we see even our own spiritual growth take place. So don't feel like because I'm not in the church right now I don't have to do anything, because a part of that engagement is ministering to you as far as keeping the same as much as the same things that you can do. And I believe as they study and they prepare, it's going to speak to their soul so much. And I also tell people that are leaders, still call them. If you call them once a week when we were actually coming to church, still call them once a week now. Find out what they're doing. So I think still trying to keep them engaged
Yeah.
in all of those things as much as normal as we can be is key in ministering to your workers as well. The other thing is making sure that you ask questions. Ask questions like, how do you feel about what's going on right now? How are things happening? What's going on in your home right now? How can I pray for you? Or can I pray with you right now? And so to me, those things about asking the questions, because some people might feel like, oh, this is great. I'm having a great time. Even though we're dealing with the COVID is not great, but I'm
Yeah.
having a great time being at home with my family, and we've all experienced that. And so, if you're having a great time being at home with your family and you're good to go, but I still want to know that you're good to go. And then some people are very lonely, some people are very depressed, some people have a lot of other issues that are going on with them, and some people feel as though they have been kind of, you know, put to the side and nobody really cares about what's going on with me right now. All they needed me for was just to come in and to serve. All they needed me for was just to work.
Yeah.
They don't really care about me now. They're not even checking on me. I haven't even gotten a call from anybody since all this stuff happened. I've even heard people say that, right? So I have been very diligent trying to make sure that this engagement is not fictitious. It's
Yeah.
engagement because we love the people that we serve. We love the people that we work with alongside, and we love the families and all of the people that make up our church, whether you're serving or whether you're not serving, it doesn't matter. And I think that we have to make sure that we keep that in the front of our minds as leaders in the church, and even as workers on the same side. Check on another worker. If you serve with, Miss Jones on first Sunday or whatever you however you have it, call her and say, "Hey, I miss working with you." And you can become so if you're a lay person or you're just serving in the church as a worker, make sure that you take an active role to continue to be the church and connect with people and to keep them engaged, because I think that that is so critical right now, because we can't get out and move around the way we've been doing it. And so we've got to find creative ways to do it. Even for me, I'm mailing stuff to team workers. If
Mhm.
I know it's your birthday, I'm going to text you or I'm going to call you, say happy birthday, or I might send you a card in the mail. The mail right now has been really great for us in ministry, because we've been sending a lot of things even to our kids in the mail. We've been maybe going doing drive-bys and stuff like that, but we can still stay engaged. And I think when people know that they are loved, they will continue to serve with joy, and they'll continue to serve with a wholeness, and they'll continue to serve with a great power and anointing that's in them when they experience that love. And that's the love that we give, that God allows us to give to them, which is His love. It's the agape love. But when we have that love, that's the power love, right? So we've got to continue to express that love to the people that work with us, and which will alleviate some of that hurt, but also make sure that we are conscious of it as well, both on both sides.
Oh my goodness. I told you
Right.
guys, Rosemary was gonna fill y'all up today. I can literally sit, I mean, literally, we've done it before, but I can literally sit and just talk to her all day. Rosemary, fix all of my problems. I need you.
So,
Rosemary, oh my goodness. You are so amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today and for feeding our spirits. And I know it's going to go so much more beyond past even today. But tell us, what are you into now? Because you are a powerhouse. I follow you on social media. I've been to your website. Tell us, what are you doing now? How can people follow you and stay connected with you? Tell us, tell us.
well, actually, this is so funny. This week we're hosting our very first virtual VBS. Wow, right? It's going to be great. I'm really excited. Even today, yes, I was telling you, today we're going down to the church and we're going to do a drive-through box pickup. We packed 100 boxes, and we said the first 100 kids that registered would be able to drive by to pick up these boxes, which we're going to give them all the exciting stuff they can do VBS at home, right? So
Awesome.
about that. And we even mailed some boxes to kids in other states because they registered for our BBS. So we're really excited about that. And that's one of the big things that's happening now. So we're going to see how it turns out. And I know a lot of people have been talking about virtual VBS or how they're going to do VBS, but we've been doing some amazing things with our children's ministry online. We've almost kind of developed a channel through Facebook, because we have things happening for them 7 days a week, so they can tune in and they can get things from health and fitness to cooking tips, and character corner where there's story time for our little ones. We have big great things happening for our preteens, so it's in devotion from church school. So it's a lot of things that we're doing teaching tips for the summer. So 7 days a week they can go there and get something. So that's been amazing for us. And
Wow.
I know we're probably going to keep up some of that as we kind of get back into
Yeah.
church, because we're reaching families in other countries, and I think that that's amazing. And even we had some people ask us, could we translate some stuff in Spanish, and we were like, oh, we don't speak Spanish.
Right?
you know,
We'll have to use Noel for that, yeah.
they getting so those are some things. And the other thing, I'm just really asking God to show me creative ways that we can still minister and stay engaged with community,
Mm.
not just people that are inside of our church, but continue to do the Great Commission, the gospel. And so God's been giving me some great ideas, and some team members some great ideas, and we've been collaborating and doing what we're doing now, like Zooming and trying to talk and put some things in practice. So a lot of things like that are going on. And for me, I'm working on completing a few more books that I want to get out. So one is going to be on curriculum, and then the other one is going to be more like the nuts and bolts of children's ministry. So I'm really excited about finishing those up in the next couple of months and get those launched. And so, if people want to find more information about those, they can go to my website, which is rosemarywinbush.com. I'm on Facebook, and I probably have, Esther, you don't laugh at me now. I probably have like 7 Facebook pages, right?
I love all of them.
But they're all targeted for different things. My
Yeah.
we're business owners, so I have a page for like business owners and things for business, and then I have one for Pastor Rosemary, that's Children's Church, and then I have one for women's ministry and family stuff. So it's like a lot of stuff going on, but God is good, and I enjoy doing all of what I do. I love ministering and doing things with families and working, coaching, and training others to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with children and young people. So it's
Oh,
all good.
awesome. Yay. Well, Rosemary, thank you so much for being with us. Please come back because you're absolutely amazing. And
I-
we need you. So we will see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, we are going to keep it moving. Oh my goodness. I know you're filled up, but we are going to keep this hour going. I love how Pastor Rosemary talked about people reaching out to her about translating, some things in Spanish because Noel, you can put your camera on because I want to introduce you to this amazing guy and friend that I have. Okay, so on his page, it says, if you look him up, it says Marcus Noel, but really Noel is his first name. And I promised myself that I would remember that today. So I know he's trying to get his camera up now. But you guys, as he's coming on, I just have to tell you, so every so often, in children's ministry, you just meet some really awesome people. Noel is one of those amazing people that I have met. I mean, so, oh my goodness, he does like everything. I've been following him. You know how we're secret spies, right? And we follow people in the background. I've been following this dynamic man of God. Noel, I'm so excited that you are here today. I have to tell you, Noel was nervous. I was like, why are you nervous about coming on the Daily Coffee Chat? And he's like, I hope my English is really good. And I'm like, no way, you're gonna be absolutely awesome. You know, the Kids Matter community that you are dealing with, like that, no, you are amazing. And we cannot wait to hear all the amazing value and things that you're gonna share with us. Noel, oh my goodness, how are you doing, my friend?
So nervous. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Esther. Wow, really, really, I very appreciate your allowing me with stay with you today and in this interview and share something about Hispanic ministry. I am from Mexico, so my second language is English. So please be patient with me. I hope I am ready for this. Oh yeah.
Oh
But
my goodness, you're amazing. So I have to tell you about a debate that me and my husband had. And I said, this is such a good question because I bet people are like wondering this. We just went through this entire um, racial distress season, right? With so many things, and so many people came up to me. They're like, what do I do? What do I say? Is it okay to say, do you say black? Do you say African American? And just, and they were asking me so many questions, and me and Guy were talking, and I said, "Yeah, he's part of a Hispanic church," and he was like, "You should say Latino," and I'm like, "Such a good point." I just felt like I was in this other seat for so long this whole season, and now I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" Now I'm in this seat. I know how everybody feels now from us just having that conversation. So will you enlighten us and let us know, what do we say? Is it Hispanic or is it Latino? you guys are going to learn today. We educate you in the daily coffee chat. Okay? What is the appropriate term? Share with us, Noel.
I don't know, but if you ask my daughter, she say Latino something, but I think it's Hispanic. It's better, but I don't know. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here today, really, to kill a debate that I had with my husband, and thanks for doing that. But really, Noel, I'm so excited that you are here. You come from that Latino context. You are in a Hispanic church, and you're doing so many amazing things. I know that this season is hitting you guys. You know, I know so many things are going on. I want to know, and even within your context, you know, is it the same? You know, for us, we had neighbors who are amazing. We had these amazing neighbors, right? And they were Hispanic, and we became like the best of friends. I didn't speak a lick of Spanish, to my shame, because I did take it at the Ohio State University, and I only left saying "Hola." I'm like, what did I take all those years for? But they were so full of community. That was the one thing that pointed out to me. They were all about joining together and spending time together, and they would have these celebrations for the entire neighborhood to come together, and it was just filled with so much love. And I thought of them in this season, COVID-19, and not being able to do that and being prevented from that. So your church is open. You
Yes.
just opened, right?
Yeah. Actually, we have this past Saturday because the American church it's busy the church to the Sunday, so we have our main service on Saturdays, and the other days of the service and the week it's on the Tuesdays. So we have, I think, three. Well, it's almost the last one. 4 Saturdays we open the children ministry for the kids. So it's crazy. It's crazy. We live in the Louisiana area, close to New Orleans, and I don't know. It's the people. They live or we live in this moment at this time with like what happened today. Maybe tomorrow it's another kind of rules change, and they okay we need to adapt to the for the church services for the kid. We try to do one service Saturdays, just the last Saturday, but you know what? It's impossible. We need to put two services because it's more space for the kids. It's more healthy for them too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are opening and but every day we pray. We need the God wisdom for do this for me the most awesome job God gave me to this opportunity to share the gospel to the kids. I think this is amazing job for ministry. Each one of the kids, no, not local. It's in my case in the America Latin or Latin America. So thank God for no people like you. You have a big one heart for kids too. So I love it. I never hear about the Miss Rosemary, but I love it. Her.
I know, right? She's amazing.
A lot of information. If she needs help to Spanish, oh well, maybe she can help us.
You're mine, Noel, okay? Don't be giving your services to Rosemary, okay? I love it. So we've been talking about hurting, you know, I know Rosemary crossed over, you know, she kind of talked about hurting workers. And I know we work with a lot of children. I know what you do. I know just your ministry is so dynamic and so amazing. What have you encountered, Noel, in regards to some problems and challenges when it comes to what the children are going through and how they're being affected in your church? What have you seen?
For the Spanish people, I don't know. It's the same. Like I think yes, it's the same. American people too, and I think for now it's the time where we live a moment of change. When I say, and we need a GPS to guide our kids. So that GPS is God. We need urgently to have a strong relationship with God, and that's one of the point. I think the parents and the helpers for the kids ministry, they need a lot. We need a lot, a strong relationship with God.
Mm.
If we have that kind of strong relationship with God, maybe it's more easy to find a way to take this opportunity to minister our kids. And the parents, it's my point, my viewpoint of the Hispanic people, they don't have a spiritual priority. Uh, I think we need, we are like parents, the responsible for making our children see and be ministry to be in our online kids program. And I don't know what happened. It happened in the American ministry, but right now the parents, they don't have like this is important for my kids to watch online Facebook online kids program. They put like they give the tablets or the iPhone to, okay, you know what, watch YouTube whatever you want, or Netflix or whatever you want. But no, I think that is our responsibility to say, you know what, it's time to go to the online church. So because we try to do the best in our online programs. For me, it's new one. In the past, I was having the experience to maybe make the 5 minutes, 3 minutes, like um, uh, something small, how I say, intro for my ministry. But now I need to make 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes in program. Uh, it's more intense, it's more uh, we need more creativity to do that, because we our competition is Netflix, Disney, and it's another kind of program for the kids. So I think the parents, they need to put this like okay, this is important. My the spiritual education for my kid is important. So that is one and the other is that children need to understand the reality in which we live right now. They are like a sponge that take what you give them, but they need you to put them where they give them something that make them spiritually strong.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, this is a little things we live in a Hispanic area or with Spanish people.
Yeah, I love how you did a comment on Facebook when we were kind of advertising this, and you said, God knows, no, when it comes to children, it's not about we're all the same. He crosses over cultural boundaries and all of that, and it's all about this mission. And I love just your heart. I love this focus on God. It's so true, right? It sounds so basic to put your eyes on the Lord when we're hurting, to just you just need to go to God and put your eyes back on God. It sounds so elementary, but it's so true. And I say this all the time, Noel, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I wonder, people are gonna think my message is stale, but I'm like, no, our God is not stale. And when we put our eyes on him, when we allow him to be that GPS for us and lead us and direct us, he is so faithful. He's not gonna leave us. He's gonna
Yeah.
stay right here and help us. So how do you think, Noel, we can address some of the challenges that have, risen up in this season when it comes to those who are hurting? What do you think? How can we address that?
I think we need to re-educate ourselves.
Mm.
You say, okay, it's supposed to be normal to have a strong relationship with God, but this kind of quarantine revealed we don't have that normal style life in
Yeah.
Christian parents. So I think this is a second chance that God give us to, you know what? Please don't play again.
Mm.
Take this more seriously. It's more, more serious for because, well, let me ask. I write in first So I make my homework for, for don't lose my point in English. Let me see. I write this. We need to re-educate yourself. The parents need to seek more of God and seek to learn this new way of living, taking care of ourselves and living together in this society. We need to put spiritual education first. It's urgent that the parents prioritize spiritual education. This changes the eternity of each children.
Absolutely.
Oh, when I know a long time ago, and my first years in the like a pastor, one of my friend, a pastor, told me, you know what? If you put attention in this education for your kids, they change his eternal life. It's not for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. No, this is eternal. And I think the parents today, they don't understand that. And also the helpers for in the kids ministry, maybe not all, but more too much, they don't understand too the same thing, the same point. If I take this seriously, okay, maybe this is the last time this kid hear about God. Oh, I need to do the best for try to share the gospel.
Yeah.
Clearly, biblical, and yes, creativity, fun, whatever you want, but more biblical to share the gospel. And the other the other sentence I take is to take it seriously this second chance that God has given us to for educate, care, and ministry to our children, not only in the church but at home as well. I think this is the more important. We need share. We need to give the God word in our homes too. This is the second places the our kids they need to hear more about God. Church is one and the home is in another. And I think the home is more strong because they have a more hours at the week with stay in the home and more in this time. They don't go to the school. They haven't more time to hear about God. But I don't know. It's a little bit for me. One, educate, and number two, put the spiritual education first.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. I love this. So we are out of time, Noel. You are going to be out of the hot seat. So I hope that feels good for you. Hey, listen, we did missions in Mexico for years, me and my husband. And it was so funny. I know how you feel. It was so funny because my husband, you know, he's been trying to already get you to help
He,
him.
he's my new friend, so
He
that's
is. But he would sit there and he would speak Spanish, and I knew I didn't know a lick, and I was like a scared puppy dog. Like, what if I don't speak right and they don't understand? But I love children's ministry. I mean, you are so right. Kids, just their hearts, how God uses children even in those moments, I remember it was the children in that community. They continued to love on me. They didn't care that I said the craziest things that they didn't understand. They would grab my hand, sit me in a circle, and they would teach me Spanish. Like they would say, "This is how you say it." I mean, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, they were my teachers." So don't tell me that children cannot change the
oh,
world.
you know what? My kids when I was they was little, they it was my first teachers in English. No, daddy, they don't say this. This is say that. Oh, this is good pronunciation. And and people like you, American people, they help me a lot too. But the more problem I have, it's my people. They speak English and Spanish. Sometimes they laughing with my accent. They then and the kids no, they say, you know, this is not. This is bad. This is good one or something like that. So now my kids in this church they help me a lot too.
Yeah.
Uh, we live a lot years in California, so I don't use my English in California because everybody speaks Spanish.
I know You just get relaxed in it. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes.
Noel, thank you so much for hanging out with us at the Daily Coffee Chat. I hope you come back because you're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my goodness, please tell us before you get out of here, tell us how can we follow you? I know that you have a dynamic ministry that you do. You speak, you minister to children, you do so many amazing things. How can we follow you?
Well, I be prepared. I have a fan page. I call well, I am a pastor from more 27, 27 plus years, and but I have a ministry, and they give an opportunity to know another countries to share the gospel. So I have a fan page. El Ilustrador is like an illustrator, the illustrator in English,
Yeah.
but El Ilustrador y Presto, and Presto is my puppet doggy. So I have this one and Facebook and Instagram. I am like a El Ilustrador. Wow. And I
And
have a new,
I love how Noel just makes it easy on us. He's just like, here's the sign.
and I have a new one, Pastor Noel. It's easy, Pastor Noel, and Instagram too, and obviously Facebook. I mean YouTube,
Awesome.
El Ilustrador, and the last one, TikTok.
Oh,
My daughter is they give me
oh
the
my goodness. I love
but
it. Noel, thank
thank
you
you.
so much for hanging
Thank,
out with us today. And we will see you the next time on the Daily
yes,
Coffee.
thank you. God bless you. Take care. Bye.
We are going to keep this moving. We're going to keep this moving. I know Rosemary, then Noel, just these amazing, dynamic people of God. But we have one more left. Harida, jump on here with me, girl. Oh my, doesn't that blue color just brighten your day, you guys? Oh my goodness. So I have to tell you, Harida is like my new friend. And we're gonna be like the best of friends, and she doesn't even know it yet. But praise the Lord for new beginnings.
Hey, we all have to start somewhere. And I've been following you and hearing about you because you associate with many people I follow, from Pastor Ricardo, Herb Ford. You have great things going on with him. And Ryan Frank, my goodness, for years, Kids Matter has been a magazine I've gotten in all the years I've been in kids ministry. So this
Oh
is
my goodness.
exciting to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh my, absolutely. You guys, Harida is a dynamic children's pastor, so many other things. I know that she's just dynamic all around. So don't just get stuck on that. But she's just a wonderful person. I know Ricardo did connect us, who is like, I have to respect him because he has this fancy effective living platform, but he's like my knucklehead big brother. But I can't do that in person in front of others. We have to be very put together, you know. So, but he would talk about you and say, she's so amazing. You guys remind me of it. You guys just have to connect, and I'm going to connect you. And he finally did. So I'm so excited that you have accepted this invitation to be on with us today. I know that your pastor, Bishop Pitts, is going to be a part of Global Kidman Day. He had a dynamic conversation on race and children's ministry, and just so many things. He was with Pastor Ricardo, and he was also with Jonathan, who is our friend here at Kids Matter as well. A dynamic conversation. But I want to get into you because I know that you have dynamic wisdom to share with us today. We have been talking, you guys, if you've been listening, we've been talking about how to minister to the hurting, how to minister to hurting workers. I love how Noel came in to talk about just from the Hispanic culture, what he's doing. Harida, will you just enlighten us in your experience in ministry? How have you seen, children hurting?
Yeah. I have so much I could share here that this would take us to the end, right? When I started years ago,
You take us, you let the spirit lead.
when I started in kids ministry years ago, I was fresh out of college. I didn't know what God wanted, what God was going to do with my life. I just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And at that time, I started working for child welfare. And
Mhm.
if you know anybody who investigates abuse and neglect, God spoke on my heart back then that if you would, see the worst cases that are going to be before you, come into kids ministry because you've got to see what I'm doing with the next generation.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, it was a lifesaver. It was the thing that got me through in a system that has so much hurt and abuse and neglect going on. Being able to be a part of the church and see how God is pouring into the next generation, it really transformed my faith. I mean, I am so blessed to be a part of a church family, and for over 20 years, 25 years, I've been on staff here at Cornerstone Church for 20 years. And I started just as a preschool helper, just spending my Sundays investing into little children. But I had this other heartbeat for abused and neglected kids. And I didn't realize how much God wanted to do and work through me until I had an incident with my nephew. And if you have family, I don't have any birth children, I've adopted. But when children come before you and they begin to exhibit behaviors that communicate things that they can't say, right? Kids often don't have the words to talk about the hurt that they're going through. Their behaviors tell us so much that I put on that kind of religious facade, and I've got to confess myself that I wanted to just immediately dismiss his behavior, blame it on the devil, and keep pushing. And God really captured my heart in that moment. And he really took me to Matthew 19 to tell me and to show me that, you know what? His children are always welcome in his presence, that it is us that hinder them, that shame to us for being the ones who use words that hurt them, that do actions that hurt them, that limit their potential and their purpose and their destinies. And so back then, I had no idea kids ministry would have such a huge role in my future and what God has called me to do. But I knew it started in that seed, and I had to fix some things back then. I had to fix my heart and how I saw kids. And I was committed more than ever back then that children's ministry needs to be a place where safety exists for children, where hurting kids can come in and find hope, find healing, find the presence of God to help them in stressful times. And we are most definitely in stressful times, but kids are bringing so much hurt with them into the house of God. And so I could go on forever with stories and experiences I have had of those kids exhibiting behaviors and how to help them. And I just want to encourage all the children's leaders out there that you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. When God shows you a hurting child, be faithful and steadfast. Pray and cover them and help and carry them to their healing.
Oh my goodness, I love that, Harida. You know, we're in the season of COVID-19. You know, we're still here. It's still, it's still here. Every day we wake up. And your experience, how do you think children are hurting in regards to this season? What's going on there? What have you seen?
Yeah, so I agree with what Pastor Rosemary mentioned and Noel. There is definitely a isolation in this season that is only compounding and making home circumstances more desperate. Pastor Noel mentioned that it's important for families to re-educate themselves about being the spiritual leaders, that everything starts at home with the devotion and the worship and the conversations with God. We all know Deuteronomy 6, where, we're to impress God's word upon the next generation when they're sitting down, when they're going to bed, when they're driving along the road, all those various ways. And families, sometimes are so overwhelmed that this is like a reset. People have had the opportunity to shut down some sports, shut down some other things in their lives and spend time together. But don't allow the noise of the world to fill that space. We've got to allow God to come in and to impact the homes first.
I love that.
And so I'm just, yeah, go ahead.
I love that you said that because I want us to jump into the next question. I think it completely connects to that, and I don't want us to run out of time because I know you have so much wisdom to share with us. But what can we do? I mean, oh my goodness, like as children's ministry leaders, what can we do to partner with parents? What can we do to help those who are working with children, who are dealing with hurt, who may be quiet in the season? You know, my daughter had come down the other day, and she was just sad. She was upset, and it was just you think that they're not affected because they're just running around playing, doing what they normally do, breaking stuff, screaming. You think, oh, it's just normal. And you know, she had tears in her eyes, and she said, "You know what, Mom, I'm going through a lot in this season. You know, this is when she was 8. You know, this is, you know, she had a birthday over the summer vacation, but you know, I miss my friends. I miss school. You know, church was shut down for a long time. What can we do?"
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question. And it really took some time for me to think. But the best answer I can give you is the simplest one that's out there. Listen,
Mhm.
listen to them, be the support that they need in that moment because kids are resilient and they
Mhm.
are going to rely on the strong adults that are around them. And as long as your daughter has you, as long as kids in your community has you as a leader to look to, then
Yeah.
there's hope because you're listening. And as the Holy Spirit guides you, as that GPS that Noel mentioned exists in my life and in your life, you're going to have, and he's going to show you the things that you can do in those moments. I'm sure you embraced your daughter, that just affirming her emotions and her feelings at that time is so important. And so let's remember not to go back to busy lives.
Mhm.
Let's
Honey,
remember,
I absolutely did. I mean, I did not sit there and roll my eyes, because I was
yeah,
just as a children's ministry leader, you know, outside of these, you know, walls of this house, I'm just extremely nurturing to my
yeah.
own children. Come on. But it's so true. My husband has to remind me all the time, Harida, like, come on, Esther, you go out and he gets irritated with me because he makes up the curriculum in our home for the kids, you know,
Uh-huh.
because the season shut down everything. And I sit there like, okay, come on, I'm just sitting there as a participant. And he's like, Esther, you do children's ministry. I think that you're dynamic. You lead people in other countries and hundreds of children and in our house. So we are definitely a work in progress. And oh my goodness, Hadida, you have shared just so much amazing wisdom. Before we get out of here today, I'm just so filled up by all of you guys. Oh my goodness. But before we get out of here, tell us, how can we follow you? What can we do? Will you let us follow you?
Hey, it's real simple. My name's right there on the screen. Just find me on Facebook and friend me.
You didn't print out a sheet to hold up. How dare you? Noel made us all look bad today.
Yeah, not at all. All I have is my name. And we have a kids page, Cornerstone Kids. There are lots of cornerstones out there in the world. So good luck finding that one. I believe it's at Seastone Kids. And yeah, I don't have any
You when you
particular.
mean a lot of you are the corners, the official cornerstone church with Bishop Michael Pitts.
There are many cornerstones, but there is one Bishop Michael Pitts, and I am humbled to serve in the house under him. He has taught me so much over the years. That's why I am so excited about Global Kidmin Day, because the wisdom and the impartation that he has had in my life, he is able to share with all kids ministry leaders out there. And I hope everybody connects to that and gets some of that wisdom that comes from him.
Oh my goodness, and I think the Lord gives him wisdom on how to dress too, because I'm very impressed. I saw a picture Ryan posted, and they are all dressed, you know, Ricardo, Bishop
Yeah.
Pitts, and I'm like, man, Bishop Pitts was on his A game. Man, I just got to get some fashion advice from him. But oh my goodness, Heidi, I thank you so much for being with us today. Please come back and hang out with us on the Daily Coffee Chat. You are just so amazing. Hey, you guys, if you guys are watching, I know that you got filled up today. This was such an amazing time that we had today. Don't forget to join us. Be back here tomorrow because we have even more amazing guests who are coming in. We're going to keep this party going. I'm going to be back as your guest host tomorrow, and we will see you guys tomorrow and every day on the Daily Coffee Chat this week. All right, guys, make it an incredible day and start this week out. Do something amazing for you. Go to God. Whatever you need to do, start this week off right and get ready to crush it for the rest of this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow.